Thank you for this opportunity. I feel that I don't need to speak more about a dialogue between the government and the various communities. Enough has been written about it. Enough about has been written and spoken about the political processes required. I would rather take off, take off where Dr. Howe kept left. What role can we, the civil society, play? Why am I saying it? Because of the total polarization in Manipur. It is impossible to bring the Meitei and Kuki leaders together. But I think civil society groups, and secondly, the civil society groups are afraid of what's happening. They are under attack. If they speak of peace, if they take a stand against what is happening, their life is in danger. And Manipur has reached that stage. There's no freedom of speech, freedom of thought. I think that is where we, the civil society groups, have to make a beginning. And I go along with Dr. Halkip in that. And it's not just the Kuki and the Meitei who have to come together. And that will take a long, long time. I think we need to look at all the communities together. You cannot leave out the Nagas. I feel that the first step has to be really meeting people of different communities separately. It's not yet time. I mean, not because there's much time to lose, but because people are not yet ready, of different communities are not yet ready to come together and meet each other. It will take a long time. At this stage, I think we need to meet leaders of different communities and not necessarily the political leaders. There are the informal local leaders. We need to meet them. We meet ordinary people of different communities and dialogue with them and slowly bring the Naga and Kuki leaders together for a dialogue. It may take, the first step may even take more than a year. But I think that is the process that has to begin, of people-to-people dialogue, and not just the political leader dialogue. That has to continue. And I think that is where we need to put pressure on the chief ministers of Mizoram and of Nagaland to put pressure on the two communities and on the political leaders of Manipur to begin to do something. But I think there is much more that civil society has to do and can do to create an atmosphere of dialogue. The tragedy is that today there is no atmosphere of dialogue. Nobody is ready to talk to the other. And those few who are ready to talk are afraid. Those who can facilitate dialogue are unable to enter Manipur for fear of the militias. I think with all those limitations, I think we need to identify a few peace activists, civil society, members of the civil society who are ready to talk to each other. And there are several of them, but they are afraid of coming forward for fear of the militias. I think we need to meet them individually, community by community. And that may take quite some time. And then slowly bring the Nagas and the Kukis together. Because you cannot have any solution in Manipur by leaving out one community that is 26% of the population, but very important from the point of view of land. Create an atmosphere of trust between the leaders, confidence building measures between them. And that is the first challenge. And slowly, with this dialogue, get the Naga and Kuki civil society groups to talk to the Meitei civil society groups, and through them talk to ordinary people. I agree that the solution has to be found at the political level, but enough has been said about it, and relatively almost nothing is happening at that level. But I think in the rest of India, you need to bring a political pressure. But I feel that wherever you have people from the Northeast, there are, take any major city, there are thousands, I would say, I think about 3 lakh people from the Northeast in Bangalore, the same number in Bombay, etc. I think you people can work with these communities to help them to come together, to understand each other. And here in the Northeast, we need to find ways of dialoguing with each of them individually and slowly bring the Naga and Kuki together, slowly create a situation of the Naga and Kuki as a group dialoguing with the Meitei, and then slowly put political pressure on the political leaders to solve the problem. It's a long way, long process, but we have to make a beginning. And that is where we need to coordinate our actions from peninsular India and in the Northeast. The civil society has to wake up and make a new beginning in an area that is very difficult to tread, but an area that demands our intervention. And that is where, and slowly go towards reconciliation. That too is not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a long process. But the first steps have to be taken today. We have to identify more Hawakips among the Kuki and more persons among the Meitei, among the Nagas, who can slowly begin a dialogue, create among them an atmosphere of trust in each other, and then move forward. And that's a major challenge, though it sounds simple. It's going to take a long time, but I think that is where we, the civil society groups in the Northeast and the civil society groups of peninsular India should come together, begin a process. You, with those Northeasterners, don't limit yourselves to the Kuki and the Meitei. Take the Northeast as a whole. Treat it as a Northeastern problem, because what has happened in Manipur can happen here in Assam tomorrow, can happen in Nagaland, can happen elsewhere. So please begin this process in the rest of India too, with the Northeasterners who are there. Create an atmosphere of dialogue among them. help them come together. And here, I think we have to face the challenge. In spite of the polarization, in spite of the dangers, I think we have to begin the process of talking to people, community by community, and slowly create an atmosphere that can bring them together, open up to each other, and slowly put pressure on the political leaders to solve the problem. And let's take that as a challenge. Thank you.